friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to go over my latest tea basket, and then I'm going to show you all of the cozy drinks and things that I chose for this coming basket. I also have a big chat to have with you guys, so grab something to drink, grab a snack. This may be a long one, maybe not, I don't know. I don't have notes or anything, so who knows how long this is going to be. I have actually what I am drinking is one of the things that was in the last basket. It is the Great Value hazelnut coffee. I obviously am drinking it iced. It is really good, you guys. Really, really good. Spoiler alert. So first off, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about where I'm at right now in my whole tea journey, because I definitely would like your feedback. This is something I've actually touched on before, but I feel like I'm just in this stage of life where I am like being pretty brutal as far as like looking at the things that are in my life and eliminating things and deciding what to keep, what to get rid of. I mean, everything from like body care and things like that to items in my home. And then it also, trickles down into even my tea collection. And I've talked about this before as far as like having this urge every once in a while to completely try to work through my tea stash and like start over from ground zero, from absolute scratch. And I never do it. And I think the reason I don't do it is because I look at my tea collection and it's almost overwhelming to even like try and figure out where to start. And I think this is like the ADHD part of me, where I'll be like, okay, should I start by brand and eliminate that, every tea that I have from a certain brand. And then once I finish that, then I will allow myself to buy tea from that brand. So basically I would be starting from scratch by brand. So I've thought about doing that, but then I keep all of my tea in like these stackable drawers, and I break them down by brand. So I guess that's why, like, in my head, categorizing everything by brand, that's how I kind of like think. So some of the drawers house only one brand because I have so many teas, like my Adagio, that takes up an entire drawer by itself. But then I have other brands, like I have Simpson and Vale and David's Tea. I have those in a drawer together because I don't have as many. And so that's kind of how I organize my teas. But then I have this one drawer, and it is packed to the brim, but it's like this total hodgepodge of all sorts of different brands that I don't have enough of each to really even break it down even to like 3 or 4 brands per drawer. So that's why they just kind of get shoved into this one drawer. And I almost feel like that is where I want to start with the sip down. But at the same time, it's overwhelming because there's so many different brands and it's going to take me a long time to get through it. And then here's the other part of this. And some of you will understand this if you do, like, if you have like a tea blog, or if you do like YouTube, or even if you are somebody who like is like an influencer on it, like Instagram, and you post tea content. So a lot of the teas that I have in this hodgepodge drawer are teas that are either from a company that no longer exists, or from things like Sips By that no longer exist, or they're teas that I know I'm probably not going to love. So I know my review wouldn't be the greatest. Or, maybe they don't even, maybe it's a company that still exists, but they don't make that particular tea anymore. So I almost feel like it's hard to start there, because with me wanting to post on YouTube, obviously the teas that I talk about, I want to recommend teas to you guys that, number one, I know you'll like, and number two, that are available. And so I have all these teas that are not available, and I know I'm not going to be able to give like amazing reviews on, but I still don't want to waste them. So I'm at this like crossroads of where to go with it. But I definitely want to start on that drawer. I want to start sipping it down. So you will see in the basket that I'm pulling, like of the tea selection, it is very, very intentional, down to like, I know exactly when I will be drinking certain teas. Like I categorize them and made sure I had enough for each category for, you know, the next like coming week or so, because I'm so trying to be so intentional about this. But I don't know. Have any of you ever done that? Have any of you ever sipped down your entire stash and started over? Or did you, like, you know, do you sip down a certain brand of tea and then allow yourself to order? And I think even that thinking for me is because a lot of times if you place an order with a certain tea company, if you order so much, you get free shipping. So I always like to place a decent size order from most companies so that I can get that free shipping. But with that being said, I don't know how I want to do this. So I guess it's going to be up in the air. You guys, I'm going through all of this, like I said, as far as just kind of going through everything. So it's no surprise that I'm, you know, this like wanting to sip down my stash vibe is like coming around again with me. Because if you watch my other channel, I'm actually on a no buy over there for 3 months on things like body care and stuff like that, because I just am trying to use up, you know, some of the stuff that I have. And then, yeah, I'm like going through everything. I post a bunch of stuff on eBay. I have posted stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I am selling things, which is a great feeling. But yeah, I just have that like restless feeling right now of wanting to like move things out, and just kind of start over. I don't know. Tell me if any of you have ever gone through this, but let's go ahead and jump into the basket from last time after that whole like long-winded intro. Okay, so speaking of teas that I want to eliminate, I actually did go through my entire tea stash and pull a bunch of teas that I know for a fact that I'm just not going to reach for. And some of the teas, it wasn't necessarily that I hated them or anything. It's just I knew there's something those of you, I mean, obviously if you're watching this, you're probably a tea drinker, and you guys know, like there may be teas that you don't necessarily hate or anything like that, but for some reason you're just never drawn to them, and you just never have that like urge to drink them. And even if they've been in your collection for a long time and they're just kind of an okay tea, but you're just like, I don't know, there's something in you that just does not want to grab that tea. Well, I went through my collection and I pulled a bunch of those types of teas, and I'm actually going to give those away because they're still good teas, don't get me wrong. So I'm going to give those ones away, and actually this particular tea is going to go in the bag with those, because this is one, it's a good tea, you guys. I've had it in my collection for a long time, and there was a time that I actually did reach for it, but for some reason, I would say probably over like the last year or so, even like this was in my basket, and I just, every single time I thought about drinking it, I was just like, oh man, I don't want to drink that tea. So this is actually going to go in that basket, and it is the Celestial Seasonings Citrus Sunrise, which I think I mentioned in the last video. They did change the name of this, and it's called something different. I don't remember what it is, but it's basically a high vitamin C tea. So this is great if you are sick or something like that. My plan originally was to drink this iced, but like I said, I didn't even pick it up during this whole basket, even though there were many, many times that I thought you need to drink that tea. I just could not force myself to do it. But it is a good tea. I mean, it's very citrusy. It honestly reminds me a lot of like that Tang drink mix. That's kind of how it tastes, except it's not sweetened, so you would have to add your own sweetener. Or if you like a tart tea, you could drink it unsweetened. But yeah, I just could not pick it up to save my life. So this is going to be given away. Okay, moving on from there, we had the Simpson & Vale Bronte Sisters Black Tea Blend. This one has black tea, papaya pieces, flavoring, raspberry pieces, alfalfa leaves, and marigold petals. So this is actually really good. I feel like our weather here is still like kind of, I don't know, we're hit or miss. Like we will have a day or two that is warm and then it goes back down into, like the 50s or 40s and rain. So it's still a very cold time of year. So I think with this one, the papaya was throwing me off a little bit because that almost has like tropical vibes. And I was trying to drink this because it's a black tea. I was trying to drink this in the morning with like some sweetener and some cream and drinking it hot. And I think it was kind of throwing me off, even though I do actually really like this tea. So this is going to go back in my stash and I think I'm going to enjoy it, maybe in like a month or so when we have warm mornings. But it is a very good tea. Next up is the Sullivan Street Blackberry Tea. So this is actually what I've been grabbing almost every single morning. This is one that the black tea base is really, really good. Like I really like that. The blackberry though, it is very, very faint. You can pick up that there is something there, some sort of berry, but I wouldn't, like if someone handed this to me and said, what kind of berry is this? I would not say blackberry, which I guess could go either way because a lot of times blackberry teas will be very tart. This is not tart at all. So, and I'm not really a fan of super tart teas. So for me, it's nice that this is just a kind of like a vague sweet berry. But if you are looking for that, like, kind of traditional tart blackberry flavor, this is not going to give it to you. But like I said, the black tea base, fantastic on this one. So, and this tea was like quite full at the last basket and I drank quite a bit of this. So definitely enjoyed that one. And then I also have this David's Tea Organic Blueberry Jam. This is another one. It is a black tea base with blueberry and it is so, so good. If you have it warm with some sweetener and a little bit of milk, it has almost like a blueberry cream, it's so good. So good. So I don't know if David's Tea currently has this one. I can never keep up with David's Tea because they change things so often. They remind me of, they're like the Bath and Body Works of tea. You know what I mean? Like they have things for a while and then they get rid of it and then they bring it back temporarily and then so I don't know if they still have this, but if they do, it is definitely a really, really good tea if you are looking for a good blueberry flavor. And again, this is not a tart tea, so definitely more on the sweet side. Next up, we have this Adagio teas. This is their Rooibos Earl Grey, which is rooibos, orange, blue cornflower, and natural bergamot flavor. So I only had this twice, but it was very enjoyable. I actually really liked this. It was very different because obviously Earl Grey is usually a black tea base. I've also had Earl Grey in a green tea base. But the rooibos, obviously rooibos has kind of like a nutty vanilla type of a flavor to it. And then to add that bergamot, it was quite interesting. But like I said, definitely very enjoyable. This tea, I feel like I wasn't sick at all when I was, drinking this. But I feel like this would be a really, really good tea if it was like the dead of winter, like January. And if you had like a cold or something, this would probably be so good. So I definitely want to continue enjoying this. And if I finish this whole thing and I still enjoy it as much as I have so far, I probably would consider getting a larger size of this because, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's like a January tea. Next up, we had this Adagio Maple Cream Oolong. And I told you guys in the basket when I put this in, I love this tea. So I actually drank quite a bit of it. So I'm getting down there, you guys. I'm going to have to order more. But like I said, I'm debating that whole... It would be a long time before I'd be able to order from Adagio because Adagio is my biggest collection. But they also have some of my favorite teas. So... I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. But anyway, this one is so good. And I particularly was really enjoying this in the mornings because it does have like some cinnamon in it. Yeah, it's got cinnamon and apple pieces and cardamom. And then that maple. So it has like a little hint of spice, but it's not spicy like a chai. but it has like that hint of spice. So it was just very warming and cozy. So I loved this in the morning with some sweetener and some milk. Definitely loved that. And then the last thing that was in the basket was this hazelnut ground coffee from Great Value. And I already kind of talked about that with the iced coffee. I love this coffee. McDonald's used to have it where you could get their iced coffee and get the hazelnut syrup, and at least the local ones around me no longer do that. So this is kind of my way of still getting the hazelnut flavor because it was one of my favorites, and it's definitely really good. Okay, so like I said before, this next basket, this is my attempt at starting to try and sip down the Hodgepodge drawer. So, a lot of these teas, you guys, they're not even going to be available anymore. And yeah, so let's jump into this. I'm actually going to jump into this I'm going to show you by category of when I'm planning to drink these teas. Because I don't know, that's how I had to like pull them. So first off, we'll talk about my morning cup of tea. So this is going to be mainly black teas, or a lot of times I'll do like an oolong. I don't typically do green tea first thing in the morning, so green tea gets saved for later in the day. But the first one that I have is the Southern Sweet by Just Add Honey. And this is a black tea, and it's got black tea, lemon peel, and stevia leaf. I actually really, really like this tea. And as far as I know, Just Add Honey is still around. But this, well, I mean, it's called Southern Sweet. It does remind me of a traditional Southern style iced tea. But I have also found that this is actually really, really good hot with some sweetener and a little bit of milk. So this is going to be a morning cup. And then I only have one of these, which, see, this is what I'm saying. I just need to start eliminating this. It is the Yogi Sweet Tangerine Positive Energy. So that will be a morning cup of tea. And then this was in the basket probably 2 or 3 times ago, and I just need to finish it. It is from the Tea Lab, and it is their Pistachio Pu'er. This is a really good tea, but I mentioned in the last time I had this in the basket, pistachio is one of those flavors that I can't drink it consistently. I get bored with it really, really quickly. It's one thing for me to have it like a couple of times of the year, then I seem like I really enjoy it. But if I try to drink this like 2-3 days in a row, I'm like, it's like overkill for me. So, and I think I literally probably only have 1 or 2 cups left in this. So it's time to eliminate. And then I have, let's see, 4 of these. This is the Taylors of Harrogate Lemon and Orange Black Tea. So it looks like that. I have 4 here. That will be a morning cup of tea. And then this company is completely gone. So, and it's kind of funny because I have still quite a few teas from this company. Some of them I've never even tried yet because I had placed like a decent size order before they closed. I didn't know they were closing, but I'm kind of down to the teas from that company that like I'm like I might and I probably will enjoy these teas, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not gravitating towards them. So I'm kind of forcing myself to use these up now. But I have the Milk Oolong, which it's the tea company, I guess I didn't mention, is Dominion Tea. The Milk Oolong. And then this one I haven't even tried yet. It is the Dominion Caravan, which I'm going to assume, it just says black tea. But anytime I see a tea that says Caravan, usually that means it's kind of like a smokier tea, which this is one that I haven't opened it yet. So if it is super smoky, because I tend to enjoy my black teas in the morning with sweetener and sugar, or sweetener and milk, if the tea is super, super smoky, that sometimes adding that milk and stuff is a little bit off-putting. So this may be one that gets given away also. And with that being said, not that I won't drink a black tea without that, but I actually have another tea that is called Caravan, and it's from Stash Tea. And I love that tea. So that I will drink, you know, honestly on a day like today, which you guys don't know what it's like here, but it is about 50 degrees and it is raining today. And that is like, to me, that's very autumn type weather. And so that is like the perfect weather to drink like your afternoon pick-me-up tea, to drink like a smoky tea without, you know, without sugar and without cream. Just like as is. Something about it just reminds me of like autumn and like a bonfire because of that smokiness. So yeah, I don't know. If this is super smoky and I don't enjoy it with the milk and everything, I'll probably just give it away because I don't need, you know, another caravan tea kicking around that I will only drink in the afternoons without additions. So that is everything that I have for like my morning cup. Next up, I pulled some teas that generally in the afternoon, if I'm home, a lot of times I'll have another black tea, or like an iced coffee or something, like obviously today. If I'm at work, I will either make myself an iced latte, like an iced tea latte to take with me, like a chai latte, but like iced. Or I will do like an iced green tea or an iced matcha or something like that. So these teas are pretty much teas that I would ice and take to work with me. So first up, this is the Stash White Peach tea. I have 3 of those. I think I actually have a full box of this, but this particular, like these 3 tea bags came in a Sips By box, so they were like kind of separate from the actual full box that I have. So I just kind of want to eliminate those, but that will be fantastic iced. And actually, if you're not aware, the white peach is actually really, really good with sweetener and milk to make like an iced latte, because it almost tastes like peaches and cream then. It's actually really, really good. And then I also have these 2 Davidson's teas. This is the organic tropical green, which again, I feel like that's going to be really, really nice iced. And then I have 1 of the Ahmad pure green teas. And I have 1 of the Yogi green tea passion fruit matchas. And then 3 of the Puka's Supreme Matcha Green. And then the last one, this is from Sips By. This is, Sips By had like a bunch of like house companies that they were like their own brands, but only Sips By sold them. And this is from one of those companies. It's called Tea Goblin. And this is the Sanguine Strawberry, which is a strawberry green tea. So again, this will be probably really, really good iced. So those are all kind of like my afternoon teas. And then the last category that I have is if I want something like later in the day that's caffeine free. So we have another Dominion tea here. This is the Lemon Pound Cake, which is actually a green rooibos tea, but it's got like the lemon flavor. So I figured that would be really nice. And then this is like a prime example. I like this tea, but there's literally 3 tea bags in this box and it's been kicking around forever. I just need to finish it up. I don't think well, you know what? I take that back. They may still have this tea, but I know it's not called this anymore, but it's from Twinings and this is the Unwind. And it is a passion flower and chamomile tea, but it's spiced apple and vanilla flavored. So this is actually really, really good when it's chilly out because of that spiced apple and vanilla. It's very cozy. So I only have 3 in there. So I need to just finish that one up because honestly, that will, 3 tea bags in this big box, that'll like free up a lot of space. And then the very, very last ones that I have, there's 13 in here. This is the Newman's Own Organics, which I don't even know if they do tea anymore. I haven't seen their tea in probably years. So you probably can't get this. I don't really know. But this is their caffeine-free sweet cinnamon spice tea. Like I said, there's 13 of those. So with that, since it's caffeine-free, obviously cinnamon, I will probably drink that hot. But that I could go either way with. I could just drink it straight as is, or I could probably add some milk to it and make it into almost like a chai, I'm assuming. So I'm just going to kind of play with that. So that's it, you guys. That's what's in the basket. This particular basket is really just, oh, wait, I take that back. Wait, don't go yet. I actually, in this basket, instead of doing a coffee or anything, I decided to pull some hot chocolates. My best friend had gotten these for me way back, and I haven't grabbed them, and they sound so good though. So I thought these would actually make some really nice, instead of like having a dessert or something some evening, I'll just have a cup of like hot cocoa. So this is from, they're all three from Gourmet Village, and this first one is the coconut macaroon. And then we also have pumpkin spice, which sounds amazing. And then vanilla chai, which also sounds amazing. So I'm going to throw those in the basket also. But that's it, you guys. Like I said, the majority of this is kind of like a sip down. So let me know what you guys are doing. Are you sipping down some stuff? And let me know, yeah, how do you deal with that? Like when you have so many teas that, I mean, a lot of them are really, really good, but you, at the same time, you really kind of want to start fresh, start from scratch. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I will see you very soon.